My name is Buhle. I am the stakeholder specialist and researcher here at CDE. I think I really wanted to be part of this project because for the first time CDE is focusing on the grassroots level. Most of our research is done, from the top down, it's very macro research, and this time we were doing micro research, and we were going to local stakeholders, we were talking to the youth themselves, we were talking to civil society on a local level, business on the local level, and I found that really interesting for me because people on the ground usually have all the solutions, and I think this project just showed me how innovative and open-minded people on the ground are, and how it's important for their voices to be heard. I got to see the youth themselves and them talking about their struggle with youth unemployment and how they've tried to overcome it. I think it's really important to make sure that the youth are incorporating the solutions of youth unemployment because they actually have a lot of great ideas. And what I found to be the most important aspect of the whole the various forums is that the youth are actually not lazy. They're not, complacent and waiting for handouts. They're actually motivated and inspired, and they have, they want to be entrepreneurs and they want to grow. They want to learn. They don't have enough support, whether from civil society, whether from government, whether from community leaders, schools. They've been failed on various levels, and I feel like this forum has showed us that. And moving forward, I think what we've learned from there can definitely help influence policy in terms of youth unemployment. I think what was moving for me was seeing the frustration from the youth. Talking to a bright, inspiring young person who has, incredible ideas but has been, met with roadblock after roadblock. They feel like they've tried everything and they've gotten to a point where they're discouraged. And it was quite heartbreaking for me because I could see myself in that youth, because there was a point in my life where I felt like, nobody's there ready to support you, or nobody's really there to mentor you. And I was fortunate enough that I finally did kind of break through those barriers. But a lot of these youth, are living in really small towns, very little support structure from various agencies of the government, very little mentors and leaders from school and university, or wherever wherever in the community. And it was heartbreaking because it's something so simple that could help them through this difficult. When I say simple, I mean, just somebody basically mentoring one person and giving an hour of their time per week could have such a huge impact on that person's life. I think for me, 3 things were key in these forums. One was we definitely need to relook at our education system. I definitely think that entrepreneurship should be part of the curriculum. Our kids are being taught how to find a job and not how to create a job and be a job creator and be an entrepreneur. And we're simply not entrepreneurial minded. When you look at other African countries like in Nigeria or Kenya, young people from primary, high school level are already thinking of becoming entrepreneurs. So definitely we have to have that in the curriculum. Secondly, I think we need to understand the importance of mentorship and having that at a very young age. I'm talking 13, 14, 15 years old, because kids will become what they see and what they know. If my immediate people around me are in communications and PR, I'm going to see myself being in communications and PR. But I don't know that I could be a plumber, and it could be really lucrative for me, or I could be a graphic designer, or whatever the case may be. So I feel like it's important exposure is very important. Our young people are not being exposed to enough, whether it's arts and culture, whether it's literature, whether it's various sectors of business. So I think exposure is very, very important. And lastly, just being connected, networking, having a place where you can have access to information, whether it's to how to compile your CV, to pinpointing places where you can have internships. So definitely access to information, exposure, and really re-looking at our education system, particularly on the part of entrepreneurship. Going in, I thought that people would be quite disinterested and not want to participate. I thought that people were just too busy being busy. Everybody has busy lives. I didn't think that people would actually take out the time to be part of these forums and to engage and to be so involved. And I was really, really surprised and really impressed by the fact that how passionate everybody is and how motivated everybody is and how people really care about, youth unemployment and how they actually care about how their kids, how they're learning and where they end up. And, they truly are invested in it. This is from business to civil society to government, and youth themselves. And I think the most important part was also seeing the youth and how motivated they are as well. I think this is common false perception that the youth, the millennials are, just so relaxed and just waiting to be given everything on a silver platter. But I think this forum, for myself and my colleagues as well, just made us realize just how wrong that is. The youth, they are so capable of so much. I think if they had, as I said, the right education, they had the right skills development, they had the right mentorship, access to information, I mean, they would literally soar. So I hope that what we've done, the policies that we had and the policy toolkit that we're gonna then formulate out of all of this will definitely help influence policy to make sure that these findings that we got, and these solutions that we came across are actually implemented, because they're not just from us, but they're from the people themselves, from these various towns. So it was just really an insightful experience. I have so much hope. South Africa has so much potential. If you look at our constitution, if you look at our current policies as well, we have one of the most advanced constitutions, advanced policy strategies in the continent, if not in the world. I think where we usually have stumbling blocks is the implementation part. But I think slowly but surely we are getting to a point where we are starting to take the implementation process much more seriously and much more rigorously. And I definitely see South Africa, particularly the youth unemployment issue, that being resolved, because the powers that be are now slowly but surely understanding just what a huge problem it is, firstly, and also just how, if our youth is not educated, what happens to the future? I know it sounds corny, but literally the youth is our future, so that's where it starts. So I have a lot of hope. I have a lot of I'm excited about things to come, and it's exciting to be in this space and to know that you in some way are influencing people's lives.